Хорошо себя ведешь, все. Да. Экспериментатор. Мент. Это идем. Я так что ты не сделал. Да. Ну. А тебе что, нравится убивать людей, что ли, или что? Ну, а себе так думаю просто, да. Да, надоело уже. Я уже устал хватать. Да. Женщина, значит, жействие.
Pardon me and my tone. You can't step to my throne.
Hello, welcome to this progress video of another episode of a piano 10,000 and 1,500 hours trip. Now let me show you what I can do. Time keeps rolling, time keeps rumbling ahead. We gotta keep moving, we gotta keep racing. Till we dance. So an example of what I can do at 1,500 hours is that song that you just saw. That took me about 5 or 6 hours to both make up and practice until I could play it that well, which isn't perfect, but is good enough for this video. So this is me playing Bach about 118 hours ago, and you can see I'm struggling a bit. Now you're watching me play it this morning, and I practice it about 5 minutes every day. I just go through the bits that I can't do. And I know the whole song now, and I'm just ironing bits out. And soon I'll post the whole song on a video of its own. I haven't been concentrating much on classical music over the last 500 hours, and that's something I want to do more. Because the way I see it really is kind of creating music and improvisation is my focus. But by learning these classical pieces, these complex pieces, beautiful pieces, I'll expand kind of the scope of my intuition, the way in which I can sort of stretch. So this is me making up some music for this part of the video. That's what I've got on my mind. Make lots of mistakes, but this is just what I'm as good as I am at the moment. When I hear myself playing the piano, I always hear where I want to go. But should really try and hear more than that. You should try and hear whatever beauty already exists and what's already there. Because who knows when I might arrive, you know? Maybe never I'll get to feel that way. It's that old cliche that it's about the journey, and the goal is often disappointing. I'm gonna leave you with a song that I've been making up for a while, and it's not the whole thing. It's just a part of it. I'm still trying to practice it and get it get a better, so I can do a better performance of it. But yeah, I'll leave you with that now, and that'll be the end. My chest burns for you, oh, my heart throbs for you. My head is gone, my thoughts are 1,000 or more. A flock of birds, uncatchable to a man who knows nothing like me. You're already gone, you're already out of reach. Yeah, we're sitting here and you're looking at me with your diamond eyes, unbreakable, and your golden heart untraceable. And it's the years are staring back at my mirror. Just me that's standing here in this room. I'm living with a ghost in here. I'm living with a ghost the past 10 years. I'm living with a ghost in here. I'm living with a ghost the past 10 years. Come exorcist, come see us. Psychotherapist believes. Tell me what to think and feel. Kill this ghost and let me heal. Like a river run, unstoppable. To the mouth of the sea where it parts with the cold and flows free. You're already gone, you're already out of reach. We're sitting here, and you're looking at me with your diamond eyes, unbreakable, and your golden heart untraceable.
I'm giving you this melody.
You think dirty keto and you think just absolute, complete, sloppy food, right? Well, what I wanted to do here is lay out how closely similar dirty keto and clean keto can really be to one another. Just to be able to demonstrate, it's not hard to tilt towards that dirty keto side, but it's also not really much more expensive to shift over to the clean keto side. In fact, you could probably do it at the same price point. It's all about convenience and all about some of these other things. So we'll break it down, make it nice and easy. Please do hit the red subscribe button and then hit the little bell icon as well so that you can subscribe to this channel and always get notifications. All right, we'll just dive right in. This is an example breakfast on dirty keto. Cheap eggs, like just the simplest, most basic eggs that you can get, not spending the extra couple of dollars for pasture raised. Frozen sausages. I say this because sausage really isn't that bad. Pork sausage is actually a pretty decent fat profile, but when you get the frozen ones, which a lot of people do get, like the frozen breakfast sausages, the little short ones, they're just loaded with garbage in them. Mozzarella shreds, I say because generally that's not real mozzarella, it's just processed mozzarella that's in the shredded stuff. So again, cheap, simple cheese, right? But then you get to like people doing their keto coffees, and they'll add straight up, not grass-fed butter, just regular butter, and throw it in there. They'll do some flavored creamers, like those Coffee Mate flavored pumpkin spice creamers and stuff like that, where it's partially hydrogenated oil. It's trans fats, right? And then they'll just sweeten it up with some Splenda, and then maybe they'll have a spoonful of peanut butter. You see, it doesn't look too terribly bad. And quite frankly, it's going to be fine if you're doing keto. I don't want you to develop an orthorexic tendency where you just are afraid of food. My point here is to show the positive piece, what you can do to make it clean. Okay? Then you have a clean breakfast, which is very similar. Pasture-raised, good quality eggs that you're going to spend on average $2 more a dozen. Uncured, no sugar added bacon, which realistically you could make ahead of time so you have it prepared. It's easy to go. That's going to be a much better solution than going for frozen sausage. Much cleaner, much better fat profile, much higher quality form of saturated fat as well. And then the cheese, aged Gouda or Parmesan. Gouda tastes delicious in eggs, and Gouda is exceptionally high in vitamin K2. And because it's aged, you don't get all the garbage that comes along with it and the cruddy casein proteins. So here we have not even a real cheese. Here, the amount of cheese that you would need is negligible compared to that to get the same flavor profile. It's kind of a no-brainer. And then maybe you add a little avocado to make it clean. And then your coffee, or matcha, I forgot an A there, instead of using butter, you use wheat to get the same flavor profile. It's kind of a no-brainer. And then maybe you add a little avocado to make it clean. And then your coffee, or matcha, I forgot an A there, instead of using butter, you use ghee. But guess what? Ghee is still about the same price when you add.
Come on in. Check out Masterclass. See what we got to say to you.
Actually weigh out the servings. So ghee is going to be a concentrated form of, or clarified form of butter, so it's not going to have all the milk solids in it. Put a little bit of heavy cream instead of half and half, or a flavored creamer, and a little bit of monk fruit or stevia instead of Splenda. Voila! You just turned a dirty breakfast into a clean breakfast without much thought, right? Then let's go into like a post-workout snack. Let's say you had your breakfast, maybe you're working out. A dirty example, just to show you, it doesn't mean it's a terrible thing if you're doing dirty keto. It's not the end of the world. It's just not hard to switch it up. I did dirty keto for a long time. Dirty keto is going to be using like a cheap whey protein concentrate. You don't typically want to concentrate, you typically want an isolate. And then maybe having a peanut butter, a little bit of peanut butter again, and a cheese stick. Peanut butter is very high omega-6. That's the biggest thing that we see with dirty keto is it's mainly rich in omega-6s versus omega-3s. That's the biggest change there. A clean option, pea protein or whey protein isolate. It's a subtle shift there. Pea protein I prefer, but if you're going to go with whey, if you strongly prefer whey, use a whey protein isolate, not a concentrate. If you want my recommendation on the pea protein, I stand wholeheartedly behind Sun Warriors pea protein, which there's a link down below in the description. If you click the little arrow, there's a link down below to get special pricing on Sun Warriors Warrior Blend, which is a blend of pea and hemp along with some other things. So it's a very clean keto-friendly protein. Highly recommended. They're great supporter of this channel and a huge product in my pantry. And then maybe you have some macadamia nuts. Okay, so macadamia nuts going to make it really easy just to get your good fat profile. Very low omega-6, very low. So you could go to town on nuts and be fine. Let's talk about beverages that you might have too. Maybe you're going to have in the dirty category diet soda, and then energy drinks, Rockstar Zeros, Monster Zeros, Bangs, all those things that are just loaded with sucralose and aspartame and acetylsulfame potassium. RTD shakes, a lot of those ready-to-drink meal replacement shakes are not good to go. They're usually full of garbage, full of preservatives, not something you want to sip on. Those ice drinks are loaded with sucralose. Okay, then you have Crystal Light get asked out a lot. That is definitely a dirty keto option. Then you have other options. Clean would be water, green tea, Zevia, those stevia sweetened sodas. Those Bay or Bai, however you say it, drinks, which are like the sweetened coconut drinks. It's a little bit of coconut water and some usually erythritol and monk fruit. Or like Lecanto makes a liquid monk fruit lemon drop that you can just like drip in some water. That's perfect. Or infused water. So it doesn't have to be this huge dramatic change. Now let's look at a sample lunch. A dirty lunch might be a fast food burger. You go to McDonald's, go to Carl's Jr., you get a burger without the bun, that's a lettuce wrap. It's obviously going to have processed cheese on it, so it's going to be probably less than 50% real cheese. The rest just processed trans fats and garbage. Kind of preaching to the choir here. Pork rinds, which is a very fine line because pork rinds can be totally good, but most of the inexpensive cheap pork rinds, like the Max brand and stuff like that, are going to have MSG in them, which is definitely going to be dirty keto. And then mayonnaise, most of the mayonnaise is good, but most, which is a very fine line because pork rinds can be totally good, but most of the inexpensive cheap pork rinds, like the Max brand and stuff like that, are going to have MSG in them, which is definitely going to be dirty keto. And then mayonnaise, most of the mayonnaise you get is going to be soy-based. A quick tip, all you have to do is flip it around, and if it says soybean oil as the first or second ingredient, you know it's low-quality mayonnaise, which definitely puts you into the dirty keto category. Hellman's, Best Foods, all that stuff is definitely dirty keto. That's what almost all the restaurants use. Then ketchup. Ketchup has a bunch of sugar in it. That is not keto. That's going to kick you out of keto. And then we have clean option. Take a look at this. Tell me this doesn't look good. A Cobb salad with some chicken breast, a hard-boiled egg, loads of bacon, loads of avocado, a good quality dressing. Usually would prefer like an olive oil-based dressing, but a little bit of ranch dressing that's made with canola oil isn't going to kill you. It's much better than soybean oil, though. And then some nuts on there, maybe some almonds. I mean, yeah, whatever, pecans, macadamia nuts would be preferred. You see, you can still go out to eat and still have a clean keto meal. It doesn't have to be dirty keto. A lot of times, like for lunch, I'll usually actually just skip it and do a shake, and do like a pea protein shake. You know, use that Sun Warrior or something there if I'm not in the mood for lunch. Because a lot of times I'm not that hungry for lunch. Then dinner. Here's a perfect thing, right? Dirty keto would be getting some good old-fashioned greasy wings. We all love them, right? But when you look at chicken wings are mostly skin and mostly really dark meat. And poultry has a very, very poor fatty acid profile. So what happens is you load up on fat from poultry. I would much rather you get fat from a red meat, believe it or not, because they're going to have a lot more of the antibiotics and things like that in a poultry fat than you would otherwise. So anyway, chicken wings are definitely dirty. And then you might get deceived by cauliflower crust pizza. It's a cauliflower crust, so you're getting some veggies in, doesn't mean it's magically clean. If it has a bunch of that low-quality shredded cheese, a bunch of preservative-filled pepperoni, a bunch of preservative-filled sausage, and standard marinara, which has like 12 grams of carbohydrates per quarter cup, 12 grams of sugar even, that's not good. And then you top it up with a Caesar salad loaded with Caesar dressing that has soybean oil, because most like pizza restaurants and stuff like that are going to use very cheap dressings. Look at the clean option. You might spend a couple bucks more, but if you're making it at home, it wouldn't be too bad, especially if you use flank steak. New York strip or a flank steak or maybe a chicken breast or maybe a piece of salmon, which I did a dollar store keto haul. Yes, dollar store, and they have wild caught salmon for $1. So don't tell me you can't afford salmon when you can go to the Dollar Tree. I'm serious. Okay, melted ghee, put that on the steak. Come on. If you want to cut it up into strips and make a taco, have some guacamole. That's perfectly clean keto, right? Then some steamed veggies with a little bit of butter, like grass-fed butter and coconut oil on it. And then maybe you melt some Parmesan on it. Tell me that that isn't delicious and you wouldn't think that that is a cheat meal. That is super good, and that is clean keto. Okay? So the point is that dirty and clean keto are so similar, but it's all kind of this nuancy stuff, which might drive you nuts. But my other point in saying this is don't get super hung up on it. Pay attention to the soybean oil. Pay attention to the omega-6 profile. Pay attention to the kinds of nuts. Pay attention to the carbohydrates that you would normally get out of a lot of these sneaky foods. Anyhow, as always, keep it locked into my channel. Don't forget to check out Sun Warrior down below, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Я часто тревожусь. Как быть?
Imagine laying on a hammock, getting some sun, eating a bucket of mushrooms. You're getting vitamin D3 from the sun and vitamin D2 from mushrooms. It's exactly what you want to do. There's a big difference between vitamin D3 and vitamin D2, and we're going to break it down. Vitamin D2, you're getting from yeast, you're getting from mushrooms, you're getting from fungi, right? Vitamin D3, we're getting from the sun. Now, ultimately, they're both going to the same plate.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Piano TV. So today's video is one that was requested. It is a simplified tutorial and piano arrangement of Chopin's Etude Winter Wind. So this is his Etude Opus 25, number 11, and the original version is like wildly difficult. We actually talked about it in the last video. We were talking about the easiest and most difficult Chopin songs. So it was definitely like, it's not even one of the most difficult Chopin songs. It's like one of the most difficult songs of all time on the piano. So sometimes it's fun to be able to play a song before you can play it. So my arrangement here today, that the sheet music is available below if you want to learn it. It's 2 pages. I took out all of like the crazy right hand movement, which you'll hear in a second here when we listen to the original, so you get a sense of that. And I just kind of like kept the bare bones, like the essence of the song. So what we're going to do in today's video is we're going to listen through it. We're going to lay it on the piano, take it apart a little bit, and pick out some of the details and discuss a little bit of the piece's backstory as well. So let's get started. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit of backstory first. So Chopin's Etudes Opus 25, his collection of etudes, was published in 1837, so in the Romantic period of music. Now, what an etude is in piano literature, it's a song that is designed to train you in a special skill. So a lot of the times etudes aren't things you're gonna like hear at a concert performance. They're more to just like, they're more functional. They're just meant to like build your technique and stuff like that. But Chopin's etudes are among some of the few that are the exception to that rule. They are regularly performed because not only do they build your technique, they sound super cool. So if you were learning the full difficult version of this etude, what you would be working on would be endurance, because it's a pretty long song and it's really, really, really fast. The left hand's doing like big leaps, the right hand's doing quick chromatic movements, and everything is really, really loud and intense. We'll listen to it in a second so you can get a sense of that. Also, one thing you'll notice when we listen to it, there's like a nice, mellow, slow introduction, like totally misleads you about what the song is going to do. It didn't originally exist. Chopin did not write the introduction to begin with, but a friend of his persuaded him to include an introduction, so we did.
Мелкий.
If you're familiar at all with Chopin and some of his more popular works, you probably know his Revolutionary Etude. It's Opus 10, number 12. And these 2 etudes, so Winter Wind and Revolutionary, are like twins. So Revolutionary is all fast-moving left hand, and Winter Wind is all fast-moving right hand. And they're both like really, they require a lot of endurance, and they're both really, really intense. I actually think Winter Wind is a little bit harder because it's longer, so you just need more endurance. But anyway, we are going to take a listen to my version on the piano now. You can like follow along with sheet music on the screen, and then we'll pick it apart a little bit. So let's get to that. first thing I want to do is make a list of all the terms used in the song, as well as their meanings. And I'll link this all on the blog post attached to this video. There are a lot of different articulations, dynamics, and details to pay attention to here. So definitely review this list if you're not familiar with all the terms. In addition to the terms, you will also got various symbols like this. So just something to pay attention to if you're not really sure what they are. I want to briefly discuss the rhythm in this piece because there are some slightly more challenging 16th note sections. So this is a good opportunity to go through and make sure we still know how to count. So when we count, I'm going to break this down to basics here. So if we're in 4/4 time, the song is in 4/4 time, so I have it written there. We count to 4, and this is a quarter note beat. So if you say 1, 2, 3, 4, you are counting a quarter notes. When you are counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, suddenly you change your underlying beat to 8th note. So now all of a sudden you are counting 8th note beats. And then we can break that down further. If you are counting 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a, you've changed your beat to 16th notes. That's getting a little tiny, but I think you get the idea. So since we have 16th notes in the song, there's little sections with them, it is best to count with a 16th note beat so you can see exactly where every single beat of the song aligns. I wouldn't do this for every bar, but I would definitely write out the rhythm for a couple tricky bars just to get the hang of it. So here we have this one beat rest, so this would be 1E and a right there. And then here we go. So we have a 16th note and a dotted 8th. So this is going to be 2E and since this is a 16th note, it gets just one, it gets the it gets 1 16th beat. And then 3 E and then 4 E.